Thank you, Chairman Menendez, and I'd like to thank my colleagues on this committee for the way that this debate has been conducted. As Secretary Kerry said to us, I think it is important not just what we decide as a body, but how we decide it. And I think the cautious and thorough and deliberate discussion of this authorization of the use of force is one that meets the expectations of the American people, that the outcome is not predictable based on partisanship, but is instead a reflection of the values and the insights of each member of this committee. As this authorization moves to a debate in the full Congress, I continue to be mindful that I represent a state, as do many of us, that is weary of war and where the input from my home state has been to strongly caution against a repeat of some of the issues that have been spoken to by other colleagues that the conflict in Iraq brings to the fore. I personally, having reviewed in detail the intelligence offered by the administration, am convinced that the administration of Bashar al-Assad, his regime, has used chemical weapons, not once but likely repeatedly, but that the attack 2 weeks ago in the Damascus suburbs massacred more than 1,000 innocent civilians, and given the steady escalation, the steadily rising crescendo of death in Syria over the last 2 years, that has graduated from using snipers and helicopters and jet fighters to using cluster bombs and Scud missiles and now chemical weapons, in the absence of action by the United States to reinforce a global red line that has been enshrined in American statute and in global treaties for decades. In the absence of that action, Assad will use these weapons again, and we will be less safe, and our regional allies will be less safe. There are, I think, risks to action, but I've been persuaded that the risks of inaction are greater. This has been a difficult debate, and I think we will have even more to discuss on the floor of the Senate, but I'm grateful for the process through which we've achieved it. I'm grateful for my colleagues, such as Senator Shaheen, Senator McCain, and others who've worked with me to craft amendments that I think have clarified and improved the overall context, and it is my hope that we will ultimately approve this authorization. This is not an act that I take with any lightness of heart and with a full recognition of the potential difficulties ahead, but I am persuaded that this is an important step that the United States must take. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Coons.